You can try that at least. They're good. They're not crunchy, they're chewy.
I've had these.
Have ya?
Well, I had the Reese's ones.
It's cold, huh? I'm cold. Well, I'll cook this later, I guess.
Gotta squeeze the lemon.
I gotta squeeze the lemon as well.
Want some lemon juice?
I'm good. Shalom, guys. I'll be in a second. I gotta use the restroom. Alrighty, guys. I'm just gonna I'm gonna turn off the generator so there's not okay, thank you. There's not much background noise.
What's going on, guys? Shalom, guys. Sorry, I'm looking through what I'm going to go through tonight.
Oh, how's it going, Mike?
What's going on, buddy?
Your camera's not on.
Yeah, hold on a second. I'm looking at something here real quick. Let's see here.
Alright. And the light is. Hold on. No, I just gotta turn on the light before it gets dark. Come on, catch.
Hold on a second, guys. As usual, I'm unprepared.
Oh, that's better.
Why did it do that? now I got it.
All right. Hope everyone can hear me. Okay.
Sorry, I'm looking for something.
Oh, you're good.
Oh, okay. All right. What's up, everybody? Sorry, I was looking over some stuff here. Wanted to make sure that I was reading everything to you all correctly, so I apologize for that. So what I'm going to try to do. I went my headset. I don't know why. Now I ain't going to be able to hear nothing. Crap. I'll let it charge for like 5 minutes. It's a nice little headset. They're earplugs, so I can listen to it at work and nobody's knowing I'm wearing that. Hold on a second. I can't.
Hopefully that's better.
There we go. You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to go over Ezekiel 24, Ezekiel 31, and Jeremiah 51, all talking about what we'll be expecting when tribulation begins and what we'll be expecting when we flee. Now, something I wanted to put forth to everybody before I get started is how this is all going to go down. So we all know that the lawless Messiah, which his name is Jesus Christ, is sitting in pretty much everybody in the Christian church temple right now. When they enact these these immigrants that crossed our southern border, and they're flooding. I think we're up to over 9 million of them now that's came across our border. What they're going to enact is either Noahide law or Sharia law. Okay. And the Antichrist will be Syrian or Syrian mixed with Egypt mixed with Japheth. He'll be a mingled mixed seed. This is in Scripture. This is also in the Dead Sea Scrolls as well. He's most likely going to be he most likely will look like a Muslim man. He'll have blue eyes, dark curly hair. And all this description is for you guys in the book of Ezra, book of Daniel, also in the Dead Sea Scrolls. It tells you all this stuff, guys. This is not an opinion. I just don't have the Dead Sea Scrolls sitting right next to me, or I would read it for you. I thought I brought it with me, but I didn't. For that, I apologize. But what will be set in place will most likely be either Sharia law or the Noahide laws, which I've heard that they've already enacted Noahide law. And a lot of people are going to accept this law. Once this man comes out after all this destruction has taken place and is going to claim he is God, he's going to say he has all the answers for the world, and he's going to bring forth this universal religion, and you're going to have to take his mark, okay? A good majority of Christians aren't going to do it, okay? They're not going to bow down to this antichrist, which that's to be expected. But see, here's the problem. Either you accept this law, the mark within your thoughts and the mark in your hand, meaning your works. Either you accept this or you're going to get your head lopped off. And most of these Christian Sunday churches have no idea. First of all, they're going to have their will broken once they realize there's going to be no pre-trib rapture. And once they're in there, their faith is already going to go down to nothing, pretty much. And they're gonna lay their heads down willingly for the lawless Messiah, Jesus Christ, thinking that they're doing a service to God, and they're not. This is how Satan has deceived the whole world. He's implemented this false lawless Messiah in these Sunday churches, and then he's going to bring forth this antichrist that's going to cause them to either walk away from the faith or bow themselves down and literally lay their lives down for the lawless Messiah. That's how Satan deceived the whole world, guys. The majority of the world's going to perish. So I just wanted to put that out there so you guys would know that when this Antichrist shows his face, okay, you need to be watching people, okay? I'm in a sense of their thought process and in how they act. Because once the abomination of desolation, which is him, that's going to sit in their temples, is in place, it's time to go, guys. There is no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's time to go, because once that once the Antichrist, sits in their temples, it's time to go. There's going to be great evil, martyr. They're going to be hunting people down that don't accept the new law that's going to be placed on the whole world. It's going to be pretty crazy, guys. So I just want to let you all know that. So be wary of that. All these things that are happening now with the nations flooding our southern border have to happen first. The destruction has to happen first before he comes in and he shows his face and says, hey, I got all the answers for this. Can I mute?
I don't know what she's mentioning, I think.
No, as I said, he's most likely going to be a Muslim man. And that's going to set the Purple Power Ranger movement on a whole new level of angry once he shows his face too. So Ezekiel 24, starting at verse 2, we're going to read this whole chapter because it's going to talk about the nations and the burning pot that is going to eventually start overflowing, and then what we're to expect those who got away and fled away. So, and starting verse 2, it says, Son of man, write down the name of the day, for on this same day the sovereign of Babel has thrown himself against Jerusalem. Now, if you're thinking that when it's saying Jerusalem in a place, you've already erred. It's talking about the inhabitants of Jerusalem. And you can test this with Zechariah 3 at the end of the chapter. It literally tells you Jerusalem, Israel, is scattered to the four corners of the earth. All it represents is the people, the inhabitants. It does not represent the place. And this is prophetic speech and another way to cause people to stumble that don't study this word. And it says, and speak a parable to the rebellious house, and you shall say to them, thus said the Master Yahweh, put on a pot, put it on, and also pour water into it. Gather pieces of food in it, every good piece, the thigh and the shoulder, fill it with choice bones, and take the choice of the flock. Also pile bones under it, cook it thoroughly. Also let the bones cook in it. Therefore, thus said the Master Yahweh, woe to the city of blood, to the pot in which there is no rust, and whose rust has not gone out of it. Bring out piece by piece, on which no lot has fallen, for her blood is in her midst. She has set it on a shining rock. She did not pour it on the ground to cover it with dust. To stir up wrath, to surely take vengeance, I have set her blood on a shining rock, so that it should not be covered. Talking about Israel, guys. Therefore, thus said the Master Yahweh, woe to the city of blood. Let me also make the pile great. Heap up the wood, kindle the fire, cook the meat well, mixing in the spices. Let the bones be burned up. Set it on the coals empty, so that it gets hot, and its bronze glows. And its filthiness shall be melted in it, and its rust be consumed. She has worried herself with sorrows, and her great rust has not gone from her into the fire with her rust, talking about her bad deeds, ignoring the law. And your filthiness is wickedness, because I have cleansed you, but you are not clean. You shall not be cleansed of your filthiness anymore, till I have caused my wrath, the wrath, to to rest upon you. I Yahweh have spoken, it shall come, and I shall do it. I do not hold back, nor do I pardon, nor do I relent. According to your ways and according to your deeds, they shall judge you, declares the Master Yahweh. Who's going to judge us? Well, if you go over to Deuteronomy 32, it makes it very clear in the Song of Moses that our enemies are our judges. And who are our enemies? Well, we went over that last night in Psalms 83, who our enemies are, which is the locust, the northern army. So, in verse 15, and the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Son of man, see, I am taking away. This is for anybody that can hear this word. You guys need to be listening very attentively. It says, I am taking away from you the desire of your eyes with one stroke, but do not mourn, nor weep, nor let your tears run down. Groan silently, make no mourning for the dead. Bind your turban on your head and put your sandals on your feet. Do not cover your upper lip. Do not eat men's bread of sorrow, meaning no crying, no whining, no moaning, no groaning. And I spoke to the people in the morning, and in the evening my wife died. And the next morning I did as I was commanded. And the people said to me, would you not explain to us what these matters you are doing mean to us? And I said to them, the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, speak to the house of Israel. Thus said the Master Yahweh, see, I am profaning my set apart place, the pride of your strength. Remember, the pride is budded, the desire of your eyes, and the delight of your being, and your sons and daughter, whom you left behind, shall fall by the sword. Remember, Yeshua made it very clear. He said, I am not come to make peace with the world. I have come to divide families, households. This isn't going to be an easy test, guys. This isn't going to be a walk in the park. He's going to test you to see how much you truly love him. Remember what Abraham had to do. How he made Abraham almost sacrifice his own son to test him and see how much he truly feared Yahweh. He's not playing around, guys. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. So he's not playing around, guys. He will take away the desire of your eyes to test you. And it says, and you shall do as I have done. Do not cover your upper lip, nor eat man's bread of sorrow, and let your turbans remain on your heads and your sandals on your feet. Do not mourn, nor weep, but you shall pine away in your crookedness and groan with one another. And Ezekiel shall be a sign to you. Do according to all that he has done. When this comes, you shall know that I am the Master Yahweh. And you, son of man, on the day when I take you from their stronghold, the joy of their adorning, the desire of their eyes, and the lifting up of their being, their sons and their daughters, on that day, one that has escaped, who escaped out into the wilderness, shall come to you to let you hear it with your ears. On that day, your mouth shall be open to him who has escaped, and you shall speak and no longer be silent, and you shall be a sign to them, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. Any questions on that?
I think also people need to realize when this person does appear in the sanctuary of Yahweh and does all these things, this is when Judah or Jerusalem is surrounded at all four sides, for example, and that's when you flee. Because at the same time when this is happening is when the beginning of the persecution begins. And can I just, there's actually a scripture that goes with this that we're talking about here, which is Micah 7, if you don't mind that I read it.
Go for it.
So in Micah chapter 7, it goes in verse 1, it says, "Woe to me, for I am gathering of the summer fruits, as gleaning of the grape harvest. There is no cluster to eat. My being has desired the first ripe fruit. The lovely and committed one has perished from the earth, and there is no stray among the men. All of them lie in wait for blood. Everyone hunts his brother with a net. Both hands are on the evil to do it well. The prince as for gifts, the judge seek as a bribe, and the great man speaks the desire of his being. And they wave it together. The best of them is like a prickly plant. The most straight is sharper than a thorn hedge. The day of a watchman and your punishment has come. Now there is confusion. Trust no friend, rely on no companion. Guard the doors of your mouth from her who lies in your bosom. For son is despising father, daughter rises up against her mother, daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. The enemies of a man are the men of his own home."
Yep.
And then there's just one verse. If you read in verse 15, you continue reading. It says, "As in the days when you came out of the land of Egypt, I shall let them see signs and wonders." In verse 15. I don't want to read the full chapter just to take up the time, but I did want to mention when this stuff happens and you are going to be. It's not like Yah is gonna pluck you and chuck you into the wilderness. That's not how it's gonna work. You're gonna have to escape. You're gonna have to do things. It's a time that has never come upon this earth, so there's going to be a lot of things that are going to come upon this earth. You have to escape, you trust no one, and you
You need to be
fight.
watching. You guys
Yeah,
need to be watching. You need to be watching people, watching how they are acting. Because when, like I said, when the Antichrist comes and he sits in these people's temple, their temple is their bodies, guys. When he sits in there and they accept him as their Messiah and they listen and do every single thing that he says to do, it's time to go. Don't even go back. If you're at work, don't even go back to your home. You better have stuff in your car ready to go. If that's what you plan on doing, driving, or have a bug out bag or something, because I'm telling you right now, when they accept him, it's a done deal. You're going to see the most evil things you've ever seen. I'm talking guillotines and everything, burning. It's not going to be pretty, y'all. The things that they will do to your husbands, to your wives, to your children, to make you accept his mark, which is not a physical mark. It's a mark in your thought process, and it's a mark in your works on what you do, who you accept as your God.
I just want to address Tammy where it says faith over fear. Do not worry, stop the fear. What I don't like about this comment is I 100% agree with it, but there's also two sides to every coin. Yes, you should have faith in Yahweh and not fear, but you also should know what is coming. The same thing with Joseph. Joseph knew what was coming and he prepared. So all we're doing is the same thing as, well, I'm not calling ourselves prophets, but are doing the exact same as the prophets. They're warning the people of the incoming destruction. You should go tell the prophets they should have faith over fear, because that's not logical to me. People should know what's coming and what to do, or else they will be slain. It doesn't make sense.
You think they really hate the righteous? I don't know. Do you think so? Look at all these Christians when you try to tell them, hey, we need to go back to the commandments of God. Look at the things that they say. Look how they treat you. Look what they call you. Children of the devil. They look at you as evil, like you're trying to put them under a curse. You're very evil in their eyes. You're a Pharisee in their eyes, and you will be kicked out of the synagogues. They hate the truth. So yes, they will be persecuting the righteous. They will be persecuting the righteous. Now, some of you have heard this before. Some of you have heard this before, but I think I need to put it out there again. We're going to read a little bit of Jeremiah 23, and then we're going to go over to Jeremiah 50 as well. Because I just in case nobody's heard it before, there's some new people in here. And need to bring this information to you guys. So if you've heard it before, great. If not, even better, because now you know what to expect, okay? So in Jeremiah 23, starting at verse 1, we're not going to read the whole chapter. It's talking about the priests and the pastors, okay? And it's also talking about our Messiah, and it's also talking about the gathering of the elect for the second time and going into the wilderness, okay? So Jeremiah 23, woe to the shepherds destroying and scattering my sheep and my pastures, declares Yahweh. Therefore, thus said Yahweh Elohim of Israel against the shepherd who feed my people, you have scattered my flock, your 50, 60,000 different denominations, they're all scattered, driven them away and have not tended to them. See, I am punishing you for your evil and your deeds, declares Yahweh. Therefore, I shall gather the remnant of my flock. That's Matthew 24, 29 through 31, talking about Yeshua said, he said, I will gather them from the four winds. That's exactly what this is talking about right here. Therefore, I shall gather the remnant of my flock out of all the lands where I have driven them, and shall bring them back to their fold, and they shall bear and increase. I've had so many people ask me, what are we going to be doing in the new kingdom? Are we still going to be having babies? Well, there's your answer. They shall bear and increase. And I shall raise up shepherds, the 144,000, the priests, over them, and they shall feed them. And they shall fear no more, nor be discouraged, nor shall they be lacking, declares Yahweh. See, the days are coming, declares Yahweh, when I shall raise for David a righteous branch, which is our Messiah, of righteousness, and a sovereign shall reign and act wisely, and shall do right ruling and righteousness in the earth. In his days Judah shall be saved, and Israel dwell safely. And this is his name whereby he shall be called Yahweh our righteousness. Therefore, see, the days are coming, declares Yahweh, when they shall say no more, as Yahweh lives, who brought up the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, but as Yahweh lives, who brought up and led the seed of the house of Israel out of the land of the north, and from all the lands where I have driven them, and they shall dwell on their own soil. My heart within me is broken because, I don't need to read that because he's going to start complaining about the priests and the prophets in these days. So now you just know it's going to be a second exit, just as the day when he brought the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, so will it be again, but he's gathering the remnant from the four corners of the earth. So how do we understand what it's going to be like? Well, as there's nothing new under the sun, guys. What happened before is going to happen again. So when you go in and you start reading the book of Exodus all the way to the book of Joshua, you should understand that exactly how that happened when when Israel was led out of Egypt, the fiery whirlwind. Remember that? That's the wrath of Yahweh that's coming, the fiery whirlwind, the seas being divided, meaning representing the nations being separated for us to give a path, a straight highway to the promised land. They're going to be going through the wilderness. All those same things are going to be happening the exact same way. There will be heretics amongst us. There will be rebels. And I'm trying to think of a nice way of putting this.
They will be purged.
They will be purged. Yes, they will have to be
So
purged, just like in the
that
days of old.
I would love to read something on what we're talking about
Go
now,
for it.
which is Ezekiel chapter 20. starting in verse 34, it says, I shall bring you out of the people and gather you out of the lands where you are scattered, with a mighty hand and with the outstretched arm and with wrath poured out. And I shall bring you into the wilderness of the peoples, and shall enter into judgment with you face to face there. The persecution. As I entered into judgment with the fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so I shall enter into judgment with you, declares the Master Yahweh. I shall make you pass under the rod, and shall bring you into the bond of the covenant, and purge the rebels from among you, and those who transgressed against me from the land where they sojourn, I bring them out. But they shall not come into the land of Israel, and you shall know that I am Yahweh. Now, this is something that I want to talk about just briefly here.
Can I ask before you do,
Yeah,
what scripture was that? Where did you go for that one? Ezekiel 20?
Ezekiel 20:34-38.
Yeah, that's what it's
There's something very interesting about this, and you made the point of, as it was in the days of Exodus, where the children got taken out of Egypt, is the same thing that's going to happen now. And I 100% agree to the extent of, think about this. The children of Israel that transgressed against the commandments of Yahweh did not enter the promised land, right? They didn't. The same thing now. The wilderness is somewhere in the promised land. This wilderness where this woman is hidden is somewhere in the promised land. And what did we just read? Verse 38. And purge the rebels from among you, and those who transgressed against me from the land where they sojourn, I bring them out. So he's going to purge them from the land of where they sojourning. Now listen, but they shall not come into the land of Israel, and you shall know that I am Yahweh. So in this time period that this persecution arises, which is the rod of Yahweh, Assyrian is my rod, and this Assyrian king which is going to persecute us and all these things, if you're not keeping the commandments of Yahweh, as I read in Ezekiel, you will not make it to the wilderness. You will not make it to the promised land. You will be cut off. You will slowly be purged, as we mentioned.
Yep. Yep, you will. And it's foretold in, what is it, Amos 7 as well. I think that you didn't finish reading where don't even trust the companion that's walking beside you guys.
Micah
It's
7.
that serious.
Yes, but sorry. Yeah, Micah 7.
Yeah, that is Micah 7. Yeah, you're right.
Yes. Yeah,
And
do
we'll
not
go.
trust anyone.
Yeah, you're not to trust anyone, guys. And we'll go over there too. I'll make a mental note to go over there. But the next one we're going to read is Jeremiah 50, talking about when we're leaving Babylon. Okay.
Yeah.
So Jeremiah 50, the word of Yahweh spoke concerning Babylon, concerning the land of the Chaldeans by Jeremiah the prophet. Declare among the nations and let it be heard, and lift up a banner, let it be heard, and do not conceal it. Say, Babel shall be taken. Baal, which is who everybody worships today and not even realize it. Baal, the one, the Trinity God that everybody worships, the Lord, Baal. Baal shall be put to shame. Merodach shall be broken. Her images shall be put to shame. Her idols shall be broken. As we said, when these nations come into our lands, as we were talking about last night, they're going to be burning down the churches. They're going to be taking all our things. They're going to be defiling the sanctuaries, and Yahweh's going to allow it. That's Ezekiel chapter 9. And I'm trying not to bounce around too much because I don't want to confuse you, but this is what it's talking about. All the Baals that we've been worshiping, Mary, and all the statues of the apostles and the rosary and all that garbage that we've added to this word that we were never supposed to do. All the images of Jesus hanging on the cross, all that stuff, it's all going to go to the fire. They're going to burn it all. It's all going to be gone. And I'll take you over to Ezekiel 9 next. It says, for a nation shall come up against from the north, again, the northern army, all right, which shall make her land waste. None shall dwell in it. They shall flee. They shall go, both man and beast. Who are the beasts? Anybody remember last night's teaching? In those days and at that time, declares Yahweh, the children of Israel shall come, they and the children of Judah together, weeping as they come, and seek Yahweh their God. Why are they weeping? Does anybody know? Well, we went over that yesterday in Isaiah 13. What is this army going to be doing? They're not going to have compassion on women, old, men, Nothing. The things that you're going to witness is going to cause most men's hearts to fail them. Why? Mainly because men are women today, but that's another story for another time. That's why they're going to be coming. They're going to be heading towards the promised land with their children, with young and old. It's also prophesied somewhere else. I can't remember exactly where, but we'll find it. Young and old, and they're going to be weeping because of the things they just witnessed. It's going to be horrible, guys. It's not going to be pretty whatsoever. And they shall ask the way to Zion, their faces toward it. Come and let us join ourselves to Yahweh in an everlasting covenant, never to be forgotten. That's the covenant of Jeremiah 31:31. We're not under that covenant like the Christian church thinks that we are. We're, like we are today. No. This covenant has not been established yet, guys. My people have been wandering sheep. Their shepherds, their preachers, have led them astray, turning them away on the mountains, the continents. Not just one place, the mountains, meaning all over the world. Where was it? And the shepherds have led them astray, turning them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. They have forgot their resting place. Where is their resting place? The land of Canaan. All who found them have devoured them, and their adversaries have said, who are their adversaries? We went over that last night. If you guys weren't partaking in that live, it's now up on my YouTube. You can easily go watch it. It's in Psalms 83. That's exactly who the adversaries are. Have said, we are not guilty because they have sinned against Yahweh. So they're saying, hey, the people that did all this destruction, the northern army, the locust army, they say, don't look at us. We're not guilty. They're the ones that sinned. We're the ones that's judging them for you. Because they have sinned against Yahweh, the home of righteousness and the expectation of their fathers, Yahweh. Flee from the midst, flee from the midst of Babel. Okay, all these people that are running around, like, I'm not trying to point fingers, but a lot of people have followed this gentleman, Sean, where he's going around saying we need to cut up our credit cards, we need to cut up our driver's license and our birth certificates, and now look what's happening to the poor young fellow. He's getting arrested because it's not time to leave Babylon. We are not to leave Babylon yet, guys. You cannot leave Babylon. Babylon is a yoke that Yahweh has put around our necks that we cannot break free from until our Messiah comes back, guys. Okay?
Hold on, I just want to mention also on what you're saying, both in the New Testament it tells you when there's in Romans it tells you that when a kingdom is established over you, you're under the authority of the kingdom as long as it doesn't break Torah. And the Messiah also told you, give to what is Caesar to Caesar. You're under this yoke of bondage because we broke the covenant of Yahweh. So you stay under that yoke of bondage till at the time that Scripture tells you that you're allowed to leave.
Yep. And it's after the destruction when it's time to leave. After everything's been destroyed, if you are left. If you are left. Can you go over to Zephaniah 2 real quick, brother, so I don't lose my place?
Yeah.
Zephaniah 2, 1 and 2.
Of course.
Let's make it very clear for everybody. It's a big if, guys. I'm not playing around when I say if. You're about to find out.
Gather together, O nations without shame. Before the law gives birth, the day shall pass on like the chaff, before the burning wrath of Yahweh come upon you, before the day of wrath comes upon you. Seek Yahweh, all you meek ones of the earth, who have done his right ruling. Seek righteousness, seek meekness, if so, that ye be hidden in the day of the wrath of Yahweh.
You may be hidden in the day of the wrath if you turn back to Yahweh with all your hearts and all your souls. He's not playing around, guys.
Because or else you're going to get purged, as we saw in Ezekiel 20. You'll get purged.
Yep. And that also goes to a lot of people have been coming to me saying very, very kind things to me, guys. I'm telling you right now, I'm not guaranteed nothing.
Yeah.
Emmmanuel ain't guaranteed nothing.
No.
Grayson ain't guaranteed nothing. Adrian ain't guaranteed nothing, guys. And it's written. And I'll take you over there real quick. Daniel 11.
We're not. We're no one special, guys. We're just humans like you.
We're just people who understand. That's all it is. And it was prophesied that he would send people who understand. And I'm going to show you that. See a different Bible here. Where is it? There it is, Daniel. That is not. Okay, I went too far. Where is it? What's going on, guys? What's wrong? No, I'm in the middle of a live, sweetheart. We'll turn them back on, sweetie.
When do the two witnesses appear and the 144 appear? The two witnesses and the 104 have two different appearances. The two witnesses appear the same time as the antichrist appear, for they will speak for the first 3.5 years. Sorry, I sent an invitation by accident to Luke. How's it going, Luke? I accidentally sent that.
It's all right. You can join.
So the two witnesses will appear at the exact same time as the antichrist, and they will preach the same amount of time, and at the middle of that they will be killed, and when they will be killed they'll take the 144,000 up.
Yep.
And
so
when
what?
Sorry, go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Finish what you were going to say.
When the 144,000 appear is after, is in the last part of, truly the last part of the tribulation, when it looks like, I'll give you an example, when literally Satan has control of the whole earth and he subdued it, and it looks like there is no return. It looks like it's all doomed. That's when they come and they
When
destroy.
Israel is almost destroyed completely.
Yes.
Yep.
That's when that will happen.
When he turns his face back, he's going to send Yeshua and the 144 to make war with the nations.
Yes.
So in Daniel 11:32, it says, "By smooth words he will turn to godlessness, those who act wickedly toward the covenant, but the people who know their God will display strength and take action. Those who have insight," this is what you need to pay attention to, "those who have insight among the people will give understanding to many." Okay? But what does it say here? "Yet they will fall by the sword and by flame, by captivity and by plunder for many days. Now when they fall, they will be granted a little help, and many will join with them with hypocrisy. Some of those who have insight will fall in order to refine, purge, and to make them pure until the time of the end, because it is still to come at the appointed time." So nobody is guaranteed anything. Michael, please.
Yeah, that's a.
And I clean it up.
Let me see. Okay. You go watch TV for a little bit. Relax. I'll be there in just a few minutes.
Remember, as long as you're following in the ways of Yahweh, it's not a guarantee that you'll be protected, but it's a more likely chance that you'll be protected compared to someone's not keeping the Torah, that is just a Christian. But it's still not guaranteed. Till the sealing, of we see in the book of Revelation, where it says, "Seal the people," so then that the earth, the trees, the water, the seas, the fishes, that they don't hurt those things.
Until they've sealed the servants of Yahweh in their foreheads. That's Ezekiel 9. You know, we can go there as soon as we're done with this, too. And I saw, who are the two witnesses? They will be Enoch and Elijah. They were the two that was translated, and they will be the two that come back, because all flesh has to taste death once. And it's written in the end of Micah, and it's also written in Ezekiel 9. The two witnesses. We're going to go over there in a little bit. So, all right, let's finish where it was at. "For I'm stirring up and bringing against Babel." Okay. Flee from the midst of, okay, so Jeremiah 50, verse 8, flee from the midst of Babel, come out of the land of Chaldee, and be as rams before the flock. The rams are the battling rams. They will butt heads with the locust army. They will protect the remnant, guys. For look, I am stirring up and bringing up against Babel an assembly of great nations from a land of the north, and they shall array themselves against her. From there she shall be captured. Their arrows are like those of mighty skilled man, not returning empty handed. And Chaldee shall become plunder. All who plunder her shall satisfy themselves, declares Yahweh, because you were glad, because you rejoiced, you who plunder my inheritance. This is all talking about Esau again, guys. We went over that last night in Obadiah. You plunder my inheritance because you have grown fat like a heifer, threshing grain, and you neigh like stallions. Your mother shall be greatly ashamed. She who bore you shall be humiliated. Look, the last of the nations, a wilderness, a dry land, and a desert. Because of the wrath of Yahweh, she shall not be inhabited, but she shall be deserted. All of it. Everyone passing by Babel shall be astonished and whistle at all her plagues. Set yourselves in array against Babel all around, all you who bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, talking about the 144,000, for she has sinned against Yahweh. Shout against her all around. She has given her hand, her foundations have fallen, her walls are thrown down, for it is the vengeance of Yahweh. Take vengeance on her as she has done. What did she do? She took out the majority of the remnant of Israel, and an eye for an eye. Returns on their own people, and each one flees to, okay, cut off the sower from Babel, and him who handles the sickle, that's Revelation 12, at harvest time. For before the sword of the oppressor, each one turns to his own people. This is a second witness to what we talked about last night, Isaiah 13. Each one turns to his own people, and each one flees to his own land. Israel is a scattered sheep. They're all over the world. The lions, which are the Assyrians, have driven them away. First the sovereign of Assyria devoured him, and now at last the Nebuchadnezzar, sovereign of Babel, has broken his bones. Therefore, thus said the Yahweh of hosts, the Elohim of Israel, see, I am punishing the sovereign of Babel and his land, as I have punished the sovereign of Assyria, and I shall bring back Israel to his pasture, the gathering of the elect, and he shall feed on Carmel and Bashan, and his being shall be satisfied on Mount Ephraim and Gilad. In those days, and at that time, declares Yahweh, the crookedness of Israel shall be searched for, but there shall be none. Everybody's going to be repenting then. Those who went into the wilderness, the one he brought under the, the yoke of his covenant. That's Ezekiel, I can't remember.
We just read it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're going to be brought under the bond of the covenant when those who made it out into the wilderness and that are going to be heading towards the promised land.
And I just want to say this. Maybe it is time to say it. As a witness to everyone, the place where the wilderness is spoken about, there are people right now and have been doing this for generations, for they know the Torah and they know what the prophets say, that they've been preparing a place for the woman.
Hold on a
We
second.
just read in the same chapter that we're reading now that the battling rams are the people protecting the people that are coming in from the wilderness. That means there's already people in the promised land, in the wilderness, preparing a place for it. As I mentioned, yeah, it's not just going to take you and rapture you into the wilderness. There's people there preparing, and they're preparing for generations now. And you can take my witness for what it is, believe it, not believe it, but I witnessed it with my own eyes. So I just wish that most people would actually go there just to visit, just to go see what that looks like, so at least you know how to get there. But it was also prophesied that people would go and bring you there. Where do you think? Well, just a question here. Where do we think we get the scripture of 7 women will cling to one man? So that's all I'll mention for tonight when it comes to that. Um, Now, I do
Yep.
want to, sorry, just one more thing. I do want to mention that this Babylon that we're talking about, you can tell me and Mike, well, Mike and Emmanuel, this is talking about Babylon that was back then, and it's not talking about the Babel today. Well, I just want to say in the next chapter, which I'm not going to read, but you should read on your own time, in Jeremiah 51, all the way to 18, it talks about how Babylon has overtaken the whole world and everyone is under her. And in verse 19, it tells you the portion of Jacob is not like them. For he is the maker of all. Israel is the tribe of his inheritance. Yahweh of hosts is his name. You are my battle axe, talking about Israel, weapons of battle, and with you I shall break nations in pieces, and with you I shall destroy kingdoms, and with you I shall break pieces of the horses and the rider, and with you I shall break pieces the chariots and the riders, and with you I shall break pieces men and women, and with you I shall break pieces old and young. Everyone, this is the same thing that Yahweh commanded the children of Israel when they went into the promised land to kill man, woman, old, and young. So it's going to happen again. And with you I shall break in pieces the shepherds and his flock, and with you I shall break in pieces the farmer and his yoke and oxen, and with you I shall break in pieces governors and ruler. Now listen carefully. And I shall repay Babel and all the inhabitants of Chaldea for all the evil they have done in Zion before your eyes, declares Yahweh. It's not Zion, it's talking about Israel. Now listen carefully. If this is still your belief that this is talking about Babylon as it was back then, verse 25. See, I am against you, O destroying nation, who destroy all the earth, declares Yahweh, and I shall stretch out my hand against you, and I shall roll you down from the rocks, right? For their rock is not like our rock, and make you a burnt mountain, a burnt nation. This is something that will happen, and I can tell you 100% that this is a prophetic prophecy of the future. Why? Because it tells you that Israel will destroy Babylon. And Israel has never destroyed Babylon. Because the Persians made Babel fall, not Israel. If you want to say this prophecy was fulfilled, no, no, no. It says that Israel will destroy Babylon, yet Persia destroyed Babylon. So what could this be talking about if not the future?
Where do you think the wilderness is, Lovely? Yeah, I'm going to take a screenshot of this, Emmanuel. For some reason, my screen is
Okay.
halfway in another live. I don't know why, but I can see another lady's head in the bottom of my screen moving around, and I can't make it go away. I've tried. I'd like to reply.
Maybe come down and come up.
I can't do nothing. I can't do anything. I'm stuck.
Okay, that's fine. Here, I'll do it. Okay, he's disconnected. So it's not Ethiopia. It's not Ethiopia, guys. Okay, invite you back. CIA is watching. I'm not worried about the CIA. Sorry, that's kind of funny.
Now it's better. I don't know why, but for the past half an hour, I could see somebody else's live on the bottom of my screen and watch this lady's head moving around all over the place. Weird. And see the comments.
And just a third witness to this, what I'm saying, and then I'll let Mike speak here. In verse 13, it says, actually in verse 12, sorry, it
I'm going to
says,
back
lift.
out while you're doing that, and I'm going to come right back, okay? Because
That
this
sounds good.
live is all messed up, okay? So go ahead, bro.
Yeah, sounds good. Okay, so in verse 12 it says of Jeremiah 51, lift up a banner of the walls of Babel, strengthen the watch, station the watchman, prepare the ambush, for Yahweh has both planted and done what he has spoken concerning the inhabitants of Babel. You who dwell upon many waters, great in treasuries, your end has come, the measure of your greedy gain. Okay, so remember, Revelation 17 verse 15 says, Babylon, that great whore who sits upon many waters. Okay. Now in Revelation 17 verse 15 it says, the waters that you saw, which the whore sits, are nations, peoples, and tongues. Okay. So when Jeremiah 51 tells you, you who dwell upon many waters, what waters? You think there's a prophecy that was back then? Or do you think Jeremiah, prophet of God, knew what was going to happen? Just a question to ask yourself.
So, hold on a second. Let me.
Okay.
All right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, can't see you though.
Okay. Hold on one second. I'll turn on my camera here. All right. So, enough of the doom and gloom for a minute. Let's bring something really cool on the table. How about that? Let's bring something to bring us joy, because it seems like all we talk about is doom and gloom. This is the reward that's coming for all those who are obedient to the Father and the Son and who made it through, okay? And who made it to the promised land. This is a prophecy. The whole chapter is Yahweh speaking to his son, Yeshua, okay? So in Isaiah 60, verse 1, Yahweh is telling this to Yeshua right now, okay? He said, arise and shine, for your light has come. Remember, he said he is the light of the world. As long as he is in the world, he's the light. And esteem of Yahweh has risen upon you. For look, darkness covers the earth, and thick darkness the peoples. But Yahweh arises over you, and his esteem is seen upon you. Who? The peoples? No, he just said the darkness is in the peoples. He's talking about his son, guys. And the nations shall come to your light. Whose light? Our Messiah's light. And the sovereigns to the brightness of your rising. Lift up your eyes all around. He's still talking to his son, guys. This whole chapter, he's talking to his son. Lift up your eyes all around and see all of them have gathered, the gathering of the elect from the four corners. They have come to you. Your sons come from afar, and your daughters are supported on the side. Then you shall see and be bright, and your heart shall throb and swell. For the wealth of the sea, the peoples, the sea representing the peoples, is turned to you. Who? The Son. The riches of the nations come to you. A stream of camels cover your land. The dromedaries of Midian and Ephah, all those from Sheba come, bearing gold and incense and proclaiming the praises of Yahweh. Remember, I said not all nations are going to be destroyed, guys. They're still going to have to come up year to year to celebrate Sukkot. Not all nations are going to be destroyed. All the flocks are Kedar are gathered to you. The rams of Nebaboah serve you. They shall come up for acceptance on my slaughter place, and I embellish my esteemed house. Who are those who fly like a cloud and like doves to their windows? Because the coastlands wait for me, the ships of Tarshish first. Remember what Adrian was talking about with the ships. To bring your sons from afar, their silver and their gold with them, to the name of Yahweh, your Elohim, and to the set apart one of Israel, because he has adorned you. Who? The Son. And the sons of foreigners shall build your walls, and their sovereigns serve you. For in my wrath I have stricken you, but in my delight I shall have compassion on you. And your gates shall be open continually, they shall not be shut day or night, to bring to you the wealth of the nations and their sovereigns in possession. For the nation and the reign that do not serve you shall perish, because Yeshua is going to be king over the whole earth, guys. This is something that a lot of people don't understand. When and we've went over this in Isaiah 13, and we just talked about it in Jeremiah 50. Guys, Israel is going to be their own people again. Okay, they're not going to have all these mixed multitudes together. Each nation is going to be their own people again. Just as prophecy said, it will be like a chaste roe. Every man shall flee to their own people, and every man shall flee to their own countries. Okay? The world is going to be divided just like in the days of old, because there's nothing new under the sun. Yahweh separated everybody, and everybody became their own nations and lands and peoples again. And these nations that he's talking about, Midian, Ephah, Sheba, and also Ethiopia, somewhere in Isaiah, I think it's in Isaiah 40 something, they're all going to come up year to year and
And yeah,
celebrate.
and Egypt.
Yeah, and Egypt as well. They're going to come and they're going to repent, but they are not allowed to dwell with Israel, guys. That's what we have been trying to tell you. No one
Yeah,
here is racist. No one here hates anybody, but we have to tell the truth. Israel is going to be, the two sticks are going to be one, and all the other nations are going to serve Yahweh's chosen elect people as he wanted in the very beginning. But see, the problem was Israel didn't listen to Yahweh. They didn't keep his laws. They kept backsliding and chasing the other nations when Yahweh was trying to establish Israel for the nations to chase them. They were supposed to be a light to the world to follow, and they didn't follow Yahweh at all. They chased after other gods. They chased after other nations. That's all throughout the Bible, guys. When he gathers the elect of Israel into their own land, that's Ezekiel 36, 37, 38, 39, and Yeshua is the king over the whole earth. They're going to be a light for the peoples as Yahweh had established all the way in Genesis when he created Adam.
now
Exactly the.
sorry, go ahead. I
No,
apologize.
go ahead. Go ahead. No, go ahead.
So because what we're talking about now is, I guess today in today's society we're talking about, oh, everyone being to his own people, that's somehow racist or something like that. But that's how it was, and that's how it's always meant to be. And if you're gonna say we're racist, then you're gonna have to call Yahweh racist, especially in Zechariah 14, which says, "See, a day shall come for Yahweh, and your spoil shall be divided in your midst. And I shall gather all nations to battle against Jerusalem. And the city shall be taken, the house plundered, and the woman ravished. Half of the city shall go into exile, but the remnant of the people shall not be cut off from the city. And Yahweh shall go forth, and he shall fight against those nations as he fights in the day of battle. And in that day his feet shall stand upon the mountain of olives, which who's going to stand on the Mount of Olives? The Messiah, which
Messiah.
faces which faces Jerusalem on the east, a coincidence, on the east. And the Mount of Olives shall be split in two, from the east to the west, a very great valley, and half of the mountain shall move toward the north, and half of it toward the south. And you shall flee to the valley of my mountain, for the valley of the mountains reach to Estella. And you shall flee as you fled from the earthquake in the days of Uzziah, sovereign of Judah, and Yahweh your Elohim shall come, and all the set apart ones with you. And in that day it shall be that there is no light, it is darkness, and it shall be one day which is known to Yahweh, neither day nor light, but at evening there shall be light. And in that day it shall be that the living waters flow from Jerusalem. What is the living waters? The Torah. For from Jerusalem the Torah shall spread. I forget the wordage. Half of them toward the eastern sea, and half of them toward the western sea, in the summer as well as in the winter. And Yahweh shall be a sovereign over all the earth. And in that day there shall be one Yahweh, and his name one. It's not going to be a Trinity God. It's going to be one.
No more Trinity. Though,
Okay?
as we just read in Jeremiah 50, the Baal, the one that everybody worships today, the Lord, the Trinity God, he's going to remove them from the midst. No more. He's going
No
to be
more.
gone. No more.
And
So, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I wanted you to go over
that's
to
fine.
Isaiah 13:1, or you're in Isaiah 13, right?
I'm in Zechariah. I just want to I wanted to
Okay.
make the point of
Oh, go
what's
ahead.
actually going to happen, and we're talking about everyone by themselves and them coming to Yahweh for the Sukkot. I was in verse 11, and they shall dwell in her, and there shall be no more utter destruction, but Jerusalem shall dwell safely inhabited. And there is no plague with which Yahweh plagues all the people who fought against Jerusalem. Their flesh shall decay while they stand on their feet, and their eyes decay in their sockets, and their tongues decay in their mouth. And it shall be in that day that the great confusion from Yahweh is among them, and every one of them shall seize thy hand of his neighbor, and the hand rise against his neighbor's hand. And Judah shall fight at Jerusalem as well. And the wealth of all the nations round about shall be gathered together, gold and silver, and garments great antiquity. What did we just read in Jeremiah? In Isaiah 60, that they will bring all their
Same
silver
thing.
and gold, right?
Gold. Yep. Yep.
Okay. So also, okay, verse 14. And we read that, verse 15. So also is the plague of the horse, of the mule, on the camel, and the donkey, and all the cattle that are on the camps, as this
Those are
plague.
not animals. They're not animals, guys. Those are not animals
And it shall
representing
be,
nations.
yeah, yeah,
Yep.
and it shall be that all who are left, listen, it shall be that all who are left from all the nations which came up against Jerusalem, this great persecution, shall go forth year to year to bow themselves to the sovereign Yahweh of hosts, to celebrate the festival of Sukkot. And it shall be that if anyone of the clans of the earth, this is why we mention Egypt and all these are all different clans. It's a plurality. It's not one clan. It's all different clans
Yep.
of the earth does not come up to Jerusalem to bow themselves to the sovereign Yahweh of hosts, on them there shall be no rain. And if the clan of Egypt, singular now, does not come up to enter in, and there is no, if the clan of Egypt does not come up and enter in, there is no rain on them, is the plague with which Yahweh plagues the nations who do not come up to celebrate the festival of Sukkot. This is the punishment of Egypt and the punishment of all the nations that do not come to celebrate the festival of Sukkot. In that day, set apart to Yahweh shall be engraved on the bells of the horses, and the pots of the houses shall be like the bowls before the slaughter place. And every pot in Jerusalem and Judah shall be set apart to Yahweh of hosts, and on whose slaughter shall come and take them, cook in them, and there shall be no longer be a merchant in the house of Yahweh of hosts. But that word merchant is not merchant, it is Canaanite. Go look at the Hebrew. It says there shall be no more Canaanite in the house of Yahweh. So if they don't come and follow the Torah, they'll be cut off in the 1,000-year reign.
And that's
Completely cut off.
exactly the same exact thing that we literally just read in Isaiah 60, verse 10, where it says, "And the sons of the foreigner shall build your walls, and the sovereigns serve you. For my wrath I have stricken you, but in my delight I shall have compassion on you. And the gates shall be open continually, and they shall not shut day or night, to bring to you the wealth of the nations, the other nations." Because remember, we just read the gold of the Ophir and the silver, and their sovereigns in possession, for the nation and the reign that do not serve you, who? The Messiah, Yeshua, because he will be king over the whole earth, shall perish. They
There
will
you
go
go.
into those plagues in Zechariah 14. The horse, the
Hallelujah.
camel, the mule, and the ass. You don't, if you think those are animals, you've already erred. They represent nations. Muslims.
The Messiah himself called the king Herod of that time. He called him a fox. Now, when you go look at Herod's background and who he came from the line of the Edomites.
Yep.
Oh wow! All of a surprise. He's not calling him a fox like he's a fox. He's calling him an Edomite.
Hold on, guys. Go ahead and take. I got child duty real
Yeah,
quick. Okay. Give
yeah.
me a
Take your
minute, guys. I'll
time.
be right back.
Yeah. I also have to just quickly do something, guys. But I want you guys to read both Isaiah 60 and Zechariah 14 parallelly. Go to Step Bible, which actually, which is a great website. Someone recommended it to me. It was Luke. I saw it. Luke said go to Step Bible. And the one thing that intrigued me about Step Bible, it's an app, is that you can have parallel passages right next to each other and you can read them all at the same time. Go to stepbible.com, read Isaiah 60, and then read Zechariah 14. But I'll be right back as well.
Sorry, guys. I had child duty. Hold on real quick. Let me reset up my head. Can you all hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, there it goes.
Yeah.
All right. Remember where he says that in Revelation 2:6, he says, what is it? Word for word. I know those who say they are Jews, but do not lie. Behold, I shall make them come and worship before your feet. So he's saying the same exact thing in Isaiah 60, verse 14. He's saying, and the sons of those who afflicted you come bowing to you, and all those who despised you shall bow themselves at the soles of your feet, and they shall call you city of Yahweh, Zion of the set apart one of Israel. Instead of you being forsaken and hated, so that no one passes through you, I shall make you an everlasting excellence, a joy of many generations, and you shall suck the milk of the nations. Again, guys, Israel and Yeshua are going to be the rulers of the world. All the rest of the nations are going to flock to them, okay? And they will bless the other nations. They will bless them all. The world is going to be free. Nebuchadnezzar, Babel is going bye-bye. Everybody is going back to their own peoples. Everybody's going back to their own lands, and they will establish their own governments, and Yeshua will be the one running the world. And there will be
Hallelujah.
peace and
Yeah.
serenity, and no one's going to take anything from you. No tyrant is going to rule over you. Yeshua. I'm sorry. And us? What do you mean, Luke?
I don't know. And us priest?
The priest?
Yes.
The priests
Yes.
will be the 144,000. They'll be kings as well. Just like in the days of old remember when Moses was given the law and he said, Moses, he said, you need to appoint people over you to handle the lighter weight part of the law, and you handle the heavier matters of the law. So he established more and more and more priests, so he didn't have to deal with everybody himself. It's going to be the exact same way as what happened in the book of Exodus when he brought the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt. That's why it's a second Exodus.
So the structure will be the Messiah, the 24 elders, the 144,000.
Hmm. So in Isaiah 13, we just want to make this clear. What we're saying is not false to you. Isaiah 13:1 starts with, no, wait a minute. Is it Isaiah 13 or is it Isaiah 14? Isaiah 14, I'm sorry. Because Yahweh has compassion on Jacob and shall again choose Israel and give them rest in their own land. Again, we're saying this over and over and over and over again. They're going into their own land. You know what? I want to go over that too. Are you okay with that, Emmanuel?
Yeah, when you're reading just one thing, when you're reading Isaiah 14, do you just
I'm not
can you just finish? Oh, sorry. Okay. Apologize.
I'm
I
not
thought
going to
you were
go
done.
all into that. No, I'm
No,
not going to
just the
go
first
all into
verse.
Satan. Yeah, just the
No,
first
just
verse
the
because
first. Yeah.
I don't want to go into the rest of that because people seem to get offended when you read the rest of it. So it says, because Yahweh has compassion on Jacob and shall again choose Israel and give them rest in their own land, and the sojourners shall join them, and they shall cling to the house of Jacob, and the people shall take them and bring them into their place, and house of Israel shall possess them for servants and female servants in the land of Yahweh, and they shall make captives of their captors and rule over their oppressors. All those people who oppressed them, which is Esau. That's Edom. That's the whole book of Obadiah. That's Ezekiel 35. And that's also Isaiah 63. All saying the same exact thing. All those who ruled over us will be brought under the rod by our Messiah. And I'm sorry, and verse 3, and it shall be in that day Yahweh gives you rest from your sorrow and from your trouble and the hard service in which you were made to serve, that you shall take up this proverb against the sovereign of Babel and say, how the oppressor has ceased, the gold gatherer has ceased. And that's where I'm going to stop there, because this is where it gets into something that a lot of people don't like to talk about, and we're not going to talk about that tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Because it'll start talking about Zephaniah 2 and all the nations that are going to be extinct from the earth. And I don't want to talk about that tonight. Where is it at? It's in Ezekiel 36. Ezekiel 36, verse 22. Therefore say to the house of Israel, thus said the Master Yahweh, I do not do this for your sake. Okay? He's
Mm-hmm.
speaking to this last days generation. Therefore, I do not do this for your sake, O house of Israel, but for my set apart name's sake, which you have profaned among the nations wherever you went. Again, we chased other gods, we chased after other nations when we were supposed to serve Yahweh alone and be a light to the other nations, but we didn't do that. And I shall set apart my great name, which has been profaned among the nations, which you have profaned in their midst, and the nations shall know that I am Yahweh, declares Master Yahweh, when I am set apart in you before their eyes. And I shall take you from among the nations. Here's the gathering of the elect again, to Matthew 24:29 through 31. And I shall take you from among the nations, and I shall gather you out of all the lands, and I shall bring you into your own land. And I shall sprinkle clean water on you, and you shall be clean from all your filthiness and from all your idols. I cleanse you, and I shall give you a new heart and put a new spirit within you, and I shall take the heart of stone of your flesh, and I shall give you a heart of flesh and my spirit within you, and I shall cause you to walk in my laws and guard my right rulings, and shall do them. And you shall dwell in the land that I have gave to your fathers, and you shall be my people, and I shall be your God. And I shall save you from all your uncleanness, and I shall call for the grain and increase, and I shall bring no scarcity of food upon you, and I shall increase the fruit of your trees and increase of your fields, so that you need never again bear the reproach of scarcity of food amongst the nations, the other peoples. And you shall remember your evil ways and your deeds, that you were not good, and you shall loathe yourselves in your own eyes for your crookedness and your abominations. Not for your sake am I acting, declares Master Yahweh. Now, I'm going to pause right here. We're going to start talking about our Messiah here in just a minute. Just wait. Let it be known to you, be ashamed and blush, okay, the blushing peoples, for your ways, O house of Israel. Thus said the Master Yahweh, on the day that I cleanse you from all your crookedness, I shall cause the cities to be inhabited, and the ruined places shall be rebuilt, because there has to be a great war before this happens, and the land that was laid waste tilled instead of being ruined before the eyes of all who pass by. And they shall say, this land that was laid waste has become like the Garden of Eden. Guys, it's going to be beautiful. It's going to be beautiful. And the wasted, the deserted, and the destroyed cities are now walled and inhabited. Then the nations which are left all around you shall know. Remember, they're not going to be joining with Israel. They're going to be around. They're going to be going up to Israel. They're going to be celebrating the festivals. They're going to be paying tribute. Then the nations which are left all around you shall know that I, Yahweh, have rebuilt the destroyed places and planted what was laid waste. I, Yahweh, have spoken it and shall do it. Thus said the Master Yahweh, once again I shall let the house of Israel inquire of me to do for them. I shall increase their men like flock, and a set apart flock as the flock at Jerusalem at her appointed time, so shall the wasted city be filled with flocks of men, and they shall know that I am Yahweh. And then all of 37 is all about when he brings the two sticks together. And you want me to go ahead and read that? I can read that real quick. Not the
Yeah,
whole
go
thing.
ahead.
I'll just
No.
start here with the two sticks. Oh, where's it at? I'll start here at verse 12. Therefore prophesy, and you shall say to them, and this is Ezekiel 37, thus said the Master Yahweh, see, O my people, I am opening your burial sites, and shall bring you up from your burial sites, and shall bring you into the land of Israel, guys, again. And you shall know that I am Yahweh. When I open your burial sites, my people, and bring you up from your burial sites, and I shall put my spirit in you, and you shall live. And I shall settle you in your own land, and you shall know that I am Yahweh, have spoken, and I have done it, declares Yahweh. And the word of Yahweh came to me, saying, and you, son of man, take a stick for yourself, and write on it for Judah and for the children of Israel, his companions. Then take another stick and write on it for Joseph, the stick of Ephraim, and for all the house of Israel, his companions. Then bring them together for yourself into one stick, and they shall become one in your hand, talking about our Messiah, in his hand. And when the children of your people speak to you, saying, won't you show us what you mean by these? Say to them, thus said the Master Yahweh, see, I am taking the stick of Joseph, which is in the hand of Ephraim, and the tribes of Israel, his companions, and I shall give them unto him with the stick of Judah, and make them one stick, and they shall be one in my hand. And the sticks on which you write shall be in your hand before their eyes. And speak to them, thus said the Master Yahweh, see, I am taking the children of Israel. Again, it's talking about the gathering of the nations from among the nations, whether they have gone, and shall gather them from all around, and I shall bring them into their land, and I shall make them one nation in the land of the mountains, on the mountains of Israel, and on one sovereign shall be sovereign over them all. Who do you think the sovereign is? It's our Messiah. It's
Yeah.
Yeshua. He's going to be the king over Israel. And let them no longer be two nations, and let them no longer be divided into two reigns. And they shall no longer defile themselves with their idols, nor with their disgusting matters, nor with any of their transgressions. And I shall save them from all their dwelling places in which they have sinned, and I shall cleanse them, and they shall be my people, and I be their God. While David, my servant, is sovereign over them. Again, this is Yeshua. He is the root of David. And they shall all have one shepherd, and walk in my right rulings, and guard my laws, and shall do them. And they shall dwell in the land that I have given to Jacob, my servant, where your fathers dwelt, which is the whole land of Canaan. And they shall dwell in it, they and their children and their children's children, forever. And my servant David, Yeshua, be their prince forever. And I shall make a covenant of peace with them, an everlasting covenant. It is with them, and I shall place them and increase them, and shall place my set apart place in their midst forever. And my dwelling place shall be over them, and I shall be their God, and they shall be my people. And the nations, the other peoples, and the nations shall know that I, Yahweh, am setting Israel apart when my set apart place is in their midst forever. And that's how it's going to be established, people.
So I
All
just
this,
like, go ahead.
oh no, I'm just going to finish by saying this. All this mumbo jumbo crap, we're going to heaven, and this is all false doctrine. This is the truth. This is how it's going to be established from the gathering of the elect from the four corners of the earth. The 144,000 are going to be gathered up in the air with the Messiah. They are going to destroy the majority of the world. That's Isaiah 24. And then they're going to go into the land, and it's going to be peace on the earth. And the nations that are left that were not destroyed are going to increase, and they're going to come and pay tribute to Israel. They're going to come worship the king and celebrate their festivals, and they will be blessed, and they will increase, and they will do well in the earth. And then the earth will be at peace finally. And that's it. That's it. So, any questions for me and Emmanuel? or if Emmanuel has anything he wants to say.
Sorry. Um, I I just wanted to like put to rest this whole thing that uh, after we read all these scriptures, you can clearly see that there'd be other nations in the kingdom in the 1,000-year reign. So this whole thing of we're racist and we only believe white people and all this, it's just all bogus.
It's
It's all bogus.
lies.
They have no idea what we believe in. They have no idea what we're talking about, and you can't go and change prophecy. If Yahweh says other nations will be there and they'll pay tribute to the Son, that's what's gonna happen. It's not Emmanuel or Mike is gonna put a twist. No, they're not gonna be there. That's not how it works. That's just not how it works. I wanted to read Isaiah 65 just
Go ahead. I'm going to
to
take a break. I'll listen to you for a little bit.
yeah. I just wanted to read Isaiah 65, which is hold on. I just have it in my notes. I just need to get it. Just give
What happens to those fellers who are unalive? Well, they're going down to the pit, and when judgment comes, they're going to the lake of fire.
yeah, and just understand that when we're talking about not like most nations will rise against Israel in this time period. Most
Yep.
nations, if not all. There'll only be like certain little groups or people here and there from all these other nations that won't. They see this persecution. They keep Torah. They're like, I want no part of this. Those are the people that are going to be in the kingdom because they did not persecute the house of Israel. But we see in Zechariah chapter 12 verse 9 that anyone that persecutes the house of Israel is doomed. It's
It's
over.
going to be destroyed.
It's just going to be destroyed. For Yahweh will
And it's already
destroy
been
them.
prophesied who would do it too. And it's in Zephaniah 2. I keep telling y'all to go read that chapter. He's going to wipe out certain seeds from the face of the earth because they are evil by nature.
Mm-hmm.
Sin is going to be removed from the earth. And if you want to know who those individuals are, go read Zephaniah 2. And if you want to know exactly who they are, go read Genesis 10, as we all keep saying. Read Genesis 10. It's right there. It's right there. I don't know why people don't want to read it. They're like, oh, but Paul said, I don't give a damn what Paul said. Get your ass into the Torah and study it and figure out what the hell is going on.
Yeah. Go read Jeremiah 25, right? Like that gives you, and what we talked about, we read it yesterday, Psalms 83. Tells you exactly who they are. So in Isaiah 65, we're going to start reading verse 12. I shall allot you to the sword and let you all bow down to the slaughter, because I have called and you did not answer. I spoke and you did not hear, and you did evil before my eyes, and chose that which I did not delight. Therefore thus says Master Yahweh, see, my servants, plural, eat, but you hunger. See, my servants drink, but you thirst. See, my servants rejoice, but you are put to shame. See, my servants sing for joy of heart, but you cry for sorrow of heart, and wail for the breaking of spirit. Who are these servants? Who are the servants of Yahweh? I'm not going to say, please study it out, man. And you shall leave your name as a curse to my chosen. For the master of Yahweh shall put you to unalivement, and call his servants by another name. If you want to know who these servants are, go read Revelation chapter 3. And he shall give us a new name. Okay? So that
A
he who
white
bless,
stone.
yes, a white stone. So, so that he who blesses himself in the earth does bless himself in the Elohim of truth, and he who swears in the earth does swear by the Elohim of truth. This is in the 1,000-year reign. Okay, this is not talking about before, because it says when in Revelation 3 it tells you when Yeshua comes, he will come and establish the new Jerusalem and give us a new name in the 1,000-year reign. This is a prophecy of the 1,000-year reign. Verse 17, for look, I am creating a new heavens and a new earth, and the former shall not be remembered, nor come to heart. But be glad and rejoice forever in what I create. For look, I create Jerusalem a rejoicing, and her people a joy. And I shall rejoice in Jerusalem, and I shall joy in my people, and let the voice of weeping no more be heard in her. When the Messiah comes, he will establish peace on the earth. First, destruction of all the nations that came against Israel, and then peace is established. Why is peace established? Because the Torah will come from Mount Zion. That is the peace that is being established, which is our Messiah.
Yep.
Damn, it's raining.
Yep.
And no more is the infant from their going to live but a few days, nor an old man who does not complete his days, for the youth dies 100 years old. But the sinner, being 100 years old, shall be lightly esteemed, and they shall build houses and inhabit them. Right? What is
Mm-hmm.
the curse? You shall build houses and not inhabit them.
And inhabit them.
So we're
Yep.
not
And
going to
that is
have
a big
curses.
curse.
Yeah, so we're
Yep.
not going to have curses. And plant vineyards and eat of their fruit. Meaning
Mm-hmm.
the stranger ain't going to eat up all your fruit in your vineyards. They shall
Mm-hmm.
not build and another inhabit. They shall not
Yep.
plant and another eat. For the days of my people are going to be as the days of a tree. How old is a tree? Some live to 1,000
Old.
years. More than
Old.
1,000 years.
Yep.
And my chosen ones outlive the work of their hand. They shall not labor in vain, nor bring forth children for trouble. What was the curse? Not what was the curse. What was the punishment that Eve had? In bringing forth children, you will now have pains and sorrows. So that's going to be
Mm-hmm.
gone as well.
It's going to be gone. Yep.
Uh-huh. Okay. They shall not labor in vain and bring forth children for trouble, for they are the seed of the blessed of Yahweh and their offspring with them. And it shall be that before they call, I answer, and while they are still speaking, I hear. Wolf and lamb feed together, a lion eats straw, and an ox, and dust is the snake's food. They shall do no evil, nor
I'm sorry.
destroyer
Repeat
in
that.
all.
Repeat
Yeah,
that. Repeat that again. What
no
did that
problem.
say?
No problem. Wolf and lamb feed together, a lion eats straw as an ox, and the dust is the snake's food.
Snake or snakes?
Snakes,
Yeah,
plural.
that's what I thought.
Uh-huh. Yeah. They shall do no evil, nor destroyer in all my set apart mountain, said Yahweh. So let's understand that this goes exactly with Isaiah chapter 60, which we read, and Zechariah chapter 14. In this time period that the Messiah is here, he will establish peace. He will be teaching the Torah by the 24 elders, the 144,000. And the people that continually sin, whether it be by not following Sukkot, right, as we read in Zechariah 14, or just be a sinning continually to break the commandments, they will die. They will die off. They will be purged. Because the Messiah, after the 1,000 years, has to present you to the Father. He cannot present a bride with blemish. He can't present a bride with uncleanness. Has to be perfect, without spot. Right? So understand that these people will be sinning. Now, if you are of keeping Torah now, when you get into the 1,000 years, it won't be a problem. The problem is going to be for the other nations that have not come to Torah. Because the Torah wasn't
Hmm.
given to the other nation, it was given to Israel.
But
The other nations
remember,
that,
he's going to be cutting a covenant with the whole world when that happens. That's in Hosea chapter 2. You
yeah,
want to go over there? You want to read that for him?
for sure. Yes. So when these Torahs are established, when the Torah is established and they're not following the Torah, they'll be cut off. They'll slowly die off till it's perfectly clean before the Father.
That's right. There
That's
will be
this.
no more sin in the earth, guys. He's
No
going to
more
purge it
sin.
all gone.
And
It's all going to go.
the Satan being let loose for that little while is just the last final test to make sure that the bride is 100% clean before Yahweh our Father.
Comes to the earth and establishes the new heaven and the earth.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to test those. He's been under the authority of Yeshua because he will be our high priest. He is our teacher of righteousness. And he's going to allow Satan loose again for a short time to deceive the nations, to test those and see who truly want to follow him. And then that's when everything's over and the final judgment comes. And then that's when Father God, the Father Yahweh, will come down and tabernacle with all mankind. So, and Hosea 2, Verse 18, talking about the covenant. He's not just making with Israel, he's making
Mm-hmm.
with the whole world. So
Mm-hmm.
in Hosea 2:18, and in that day, what day do you all think he's talking about? The last days. I shall make a covenant for them with the beasts of the field and with the birds of the heavens, and with the creeping creatures of the ground, when bow and sword and battle I break from the earth, and I shall make them lie down in safety. Who? The beasts of the field, the creeping creatures of the ground, the birds of the heavens. Now, these are not animals, people. These represent different nations. Now, with this knowledge, go back and read Genesis 1 and really figure out what happened when the world was created. It's all parables and prophetic speech, guys.
Yeah. But I hope people understand that I just find it funny that people will sit here and call us racist, but Yahweh chose Israel among all nations. To me, that doesn't make sense.
Israel
Like,
is supposed to be a light to the world, to teach
uh-huh,
the world to live in righteousness. And as he promised to Abraham, he said, "Through thy
through
seed
Israel,
you shall bless all nations."
yeah,
He didn't say you should go chase after other nations and chase after their gods and chase after their ways. No, that's not what he said. We're supposed to be a light to the nations, and we weren't. We didn't. We failed big
yeah,
time. Big time. I'm talking big time. And he's about to throw the hammer down on us for it too. That's what the first half of the tribulation is for. It's for the correction for people like you, me, and everybody else to realize where we fell and return back to the Father, which is keeping his law. If you don't love his law, his whole law, you understand me? Listen to the words of my mouth. If you don't love his whole law, you will be destroyed.
mm-hmm,
You will be destroyed. No ifs, no ands, and no buts about it. 1 John 3:4. Sin is transgression of the law. If you don't love the law, you are going to be destroyed. There's no getting around it. Isaiah 24. Let's go over there and we can finish with that if you want. You want to read that one?
yeah, sure.
Let's read the whole chapter for them if you don't mind. That's a damn good chapter.
Okay. See, Yahweh's making the earth empty, and making it a waste, and shall
Empty.
overturn its and shall overturn its surfaces, and shall scatter abroad its inhabitants. And it shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the female servant, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, and as the creditor, so with the debtor. The earth is completely emptied, utterly
Emptied.
plundered. For Yahweh has spoken this word. The earth shall mourn and wither, the world shall languish and wither. The haughty people of the earth shall languish. Why are they haughty? Because they're boastful. They don't keep the Torah. For the earth has been defiled under its inhabitants, because they have transgressed the Torut, which is the teachings, changed the law, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore a curse shall consume the earth, and those who dwell in it be punished. Therefore the
Why?
inhabitants of the
Why is he doing this again? Let's make sure the audience hears it very clearly.
no
Why?
problem, no
I
problem.
want to make sure there's no way for them to weasel their way around it. Why is
Yeah.
he emptying the earth and destroying it?
For the earth has been defiled under its inhabitants, because they have transgressed the teachings, changed the law, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore a curse shall consume the earth, and those who dwell in it be punished. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth shall be burned, and few men shall be left. This is Isaiah 10, verse 21. The new
Mm-hmm.
wine shall fail, the vine shall languish, and those glad at heart shall sigh. The joy of tambourine shall cease, the noise. Man, what? Sorry, bug. Sorry, there's a bug on my Bible. The, the new wine shall fail, the vine shall languish, all those glad in heart shall sigh. The joy of tambourines shall cease, the noise of those who rejoice shall end. The joy of the lyre shall cease. No more do they drink wine with a song. Strong drink is bitter
Emmanuel,
to yeah.
can I pause you for a second? We got a
Go
purple
ahead.
power. We got a purple Power Ranger here in
Is
our
it
comments causing a distraction. Can you remove him?
sure? Purple Power Ranger always showing up. Which one is it?
The one
Oh,
saying
I see
Europeans,
it.
get
Yeah,
rid of him.
I
I'm not in
see
the
it.
mood to deal with them tonight. Not in
Hey,
the mood.
listen. You can listen, but I don't want
Your
your.
garbage, your propaganda on this app. You are the line of ham, and you need to humble yourself because all these curses are going to come upon you if you don't listen. If you lay a finger on Israel, you will be destroyed. Go ahead, Emmanuel.
Yeah, no problem. You guys can listen, no problem. Just let's be civil, okay? I just want to say this: if you're claiming to be Israel and you're claiming to keep Torah and you're claiming to have the Holy Spirit of God, you shouldn't be attacking people. You shouldn't be doing evil. You should be have peace. That's not the fruits of the Spirit. The deserts, where was I? Okay, right here. Verse 13. For thus is it to be in the midst of the earth among the people, like the shaking of an olive tree, like the gleaning of the grapes. When the grapes harvest is done, they lift up their voice, they sing of the excellency of Yahweh. They shall cry aloud from the sea. So after all this done, the few men that is just left, that is mentioned in verse 6, shall cry out to Yahweh with the excellency and sing to the Father. Therefore
Mm-hmm.
praise Yahweh in the east. Why the east? The
Messiah's
name
coming
of
from the east.
the name the name of
Messiah's
Yahweh.
coming from
Sorry.
the east. Sorry.
Yeah. No,
Messiah's
you're
coming
good.
from the east, guys.
Yes.
From east to west. Sorry.
Yes.
East
No,
wind.
you're fine. Therefore praise Yahweh in the east, the name of Yahweh Elohim of Israel in the coastlands of the sea. From the ends of the earth we shall hear songs, splendor to the righteous one. But I say, I waste away, woe to me, the treacherous betrayer, with treachery and treacherous betray. What are we betraying? The covenant. Fear and pit and the snare are upon you, O inhabitants of the earth, and it shall be that those who flee from the noise of the fear fall into the pit, and he who comes up from the midst of the pit is caught in a snare. For the windows from on high shall be opened, and the foundation of the earth shall be shaken. The same windows that were open in Genesis when the windows of heaven opened and the flood came in. There's not going to be waters this time. It's going to be sulfur and fire. The earth shall be utterly broken. The earth shall be completely shattered. The
Mm-hmm.
earth shall be fiercely shaken. Revelation 6:12. The earth shall stagger like a drunkard, and it shall be totter like an hut, and its transgressors shall be heavy upon it, and it shall fall and not rise again. And in that day it shall be that Yahweh punishes on high the host of the exalted ones, and on the earth the sovereigns of the earth. And they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in a pit, and shall be shut up in a prison, and be punished after many days. The moon shall blush, the sun shall be ashamed, for Yahweh of hosts shall reign on Mount Zion and in Jerusalem, and before his elders in esteem. This is where
The
we get
24
elders.
elders.
Yes, this is where we get elders from.
Yep,
Okay?
24 elders.
This is not just
So,
something we're making up. I mean, it's
no.
written there.
So I'm going to have to be getting off here pretty soon, guys. Is
Yeah,
there
me
any
too.
important questions that you guys have that we can answer with scripture, not our opinions?
Again, I just want to say this one more time. There is this woman named Farm Girl. She just made a, and I don't want to put her on blast, but she made a video of me calling me a racist. Just because I believe the word ethnos means race. When both the etymology and the Hebrew word means race. So, when people call me a racist, I can't just stand here and say, yeah, I'm a racist. I'm not. The scripture clearly tells you what will happen, how it will happen.
That word racist is a worldly word. And every time you say a word like that, people like us who are in the spirit and know his word look at you and know that you're very much a part of the world. Very much a part of the world. You can't let the world go. We are establishing exactly what the word says with no opinions. Either accept it or reject it. I almost made a video on Farm Girl earlier telling her just put the damn Bible down,
Yeah.
okay? It's not yours. But
Yeah.
trying to be respectful and peaceful on about this because I understand a lot of this stuff is harsh, tough revelations. Okay, seriously, I get it. There's some very deep things that are hard red pills to swallow. I get it, but swallow it you must, man. You got to trust what this word says. I'm serious. If he said he's going to do something, don't say, well, Jesus said this, and no, what is written is not going to be changed. Yeshua made it very clear. Do not think that I have come to change the law or the prophets. I have not come to change, but to fulfill. Remember Luke 16. If they do not hear Moses or the prophets, neither shall they be persuaded. Messiah cannot change not one damn thing written in the prophets. He cannot. He's coming to support it because all of this word in here is about him.
Mm-hmm.
Every bit of it. All these prophecies, you're in every chapter, you're going to find something that's talking about him in it. The whole book of Psalms is him. The whole book of Proverbs is him. The whole book of the Apocrypha, the Wisdom of Solomon, is him. It's all his words. It's his spirit speaking. That's Revelation 19:10. He is the spirit of
The
prophecy.
prophecy.
So if you're reading this word and you're seeing it, you're literally reading the words of our Messiah who brought the words from the Father. And he speaks all throughout this book, guys. You just haven't been paying attention.
Yeah. So just keep that in mind when we're doing when we're going through scripture. You can't change what it says. As much as, and I always say, as much as people want to change what it says, you cannot change Yah's word unless,
Nope. And we're
unless then,
watching it be fulfilled right now. Right now.
yeah,
Like, people have no idea, man,
I
the
know.
things that are happening right now because they're too afraid of offending people. That's not going to fly, man. You don't think Moses was afraid of offending people when Yahweh had him do stuff, or Abraham? Oh boy. I was going to bring up something, but I'm not going to bring it up. Yeah, that's just part of it, guys. The world's going to hate you for the truth. That's part of it. Blessed are you. Not you're not cursed because the world hates you. The world doesn't know God. So you guys need to really renew your minds and stop thinking about what the world is doing and thinking about how Yahweh is going to establish the earth when he sends these armies upon us and then sends Yeshua to destroy the world with the 144,000. Because your worldly way of thinking is not going to fly in Yahweh's new kingdom. I'm going to tell you that right now.
It'll be just straight cut off. You cut off that, scripture tells you that every time they sinned or they did something, an abomination, it was cut off so that that genealogy in the sense of that lineage will not continue.
What
Because
was
it's,
her question? I'm sorry.
no,
Somebody
you're
was
fine.
supposed to need
Where's
a
the
hint
wilderness?
on the wilderness.
Maybe we could do that tomorrow.
Yeah, we can do that tomorrow. We'll continue that tomorrow. He's going to make a path through the waters, which represents the nations, the
Nations.
wilderness, which also represents the nations. We're going to be bouncing back and forth. He's going to give us a straight path, but we have to be obedient the whole time, or he will allow the calamity to fall upon us.
Yeah. Remember what we read in Ezekiel. He will take us and gather us out of the nations and bring us under the bond, under the rod, under the bond of the covenant, and he will purge those who transgress against him, and they shall not enter into the promised land. Okay?
Same time,
So,
everybody, 8 o'clock Central.
yes. All right.
So,
Well,
but I really got to get off here, guys. I got a phone call
okay.
coming, it was a real pleasure with you guys. I hope you guys learned something tonight. And I hope we both cleared our names that we are not racist. We just trust exactly what this word says. Don't hate anybody at all. These people like Pastor Jimmy and Farm Girl and all these other people running and flapping their gums, they're going to eat those words later on. I'm telling you right now. They're going to eat them, and they ain't going to like the food that settles in their stomach. I'm telling you, it's going to be real ugly for them, because all we're doing is showing you exactly what the word says. And just like Yeshua said, they will persecute you for telling the truth. And that's exactly what we're being, is persecuted for telling the truth. So they don't know the punishment that's coming for them, guys. So just let them keep running their mouths, calling us racist, telling us we hate certain peoples. None of that crap is true. It's a bunch of hogwash. It's because they don't understand the scriptures themselves. They're running around with no understanding, trying to run their flaps against people who do know what this word says, and it's not going to end up well for them. They're digging a hole, and they're not going to be able to climb up on it, and Yahweh's going to be the one to drop the stone on top of it and said, nope, you're done.
Remember,
So,
the Messiah told you you'll be judged on every word that proceeds out of your mouth. So they can talk all they want. They're just bearing false witness. That's all they're doing.
yep. But I seriously got to get off, guys.
Yeah.
You guys have a wonderful night. Study your Bibles, man, because we're getting close to time. Study your Bibles. And with that, guys, I'm out. Much love.
Shalom, brother. All right. So before I head out, just study what we're talking about, right? Yes, it will be posted on YouTube. Just study what we're talking about. Reason it out. Don't trust us right away. Please go reread those scriptures and ask the question. When you're reading prophecy, you should always be asking these three questions. The first question is, has this prophecy have been fulfilled? Okay, and it has certain part of this prophecy not been fulfilled? Because I'll give you an example. When the Messiah entered the temple, in the synagogue, he sat down and he read a prophecy in Isaiah. Okay, he read 2 verses, and he stopped reading. And they asked him, "Why'd you stop reading?" And he said, "This part is being fulfilled now, but this part of the prophecy has still yet to be fulfilled." So when you're reading scripture, ask yourself, has this prophecy been fulfilled? When it talks about nations, peoples, and tongues, animals, and seas, all of scripture tells you that that's talking about people. Try to break it down slowly, and you will get there. And, I mean, you guys can call us racist. I don't really care. If I'm a racist, God's a racist, because he chose Israel among all nations. And he's going to put his spirit upon Israel. This is Isaiah chapter 44. So I hope you guys have a great day. It'll actually be on CrossFix YouTube. So, shalom to all, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.